Header and footer links? What does Google think? How are expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness evaluated by Google? Get ready to say goodbye to the analytics you're used to. Oh, nightmare. You're listening to news from Edge of the Web for the week of March 21st, 2022, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web Radio. I am your host, Mordy Oberstein, head of SEO branding at Wix. We're covering the SEO and digital marketing news of the week, separate from our weekly interview podcast, getting more news to you even more quickly. Be sure to check out our recent shows at edgeofthewebradio.com. Welcome to the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of Edge of the Web. I did that in one breath. The Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of Edge of the Web. That is so long, Erin. That is so long. We're proud to have Site Strategics as the title sponsor of Edge of the Web. Their digital marketing team is excellent at results-based agile marketing. We'll talk a bit more about what they do during the show. Be sure to check them out at sitestrategics.com. This week, first off, I am not the usual host. I'm filling in for Erin Sparks. So if you're normally tuning in, you're normally used to hearing Erin. The only way you can see Erin is right behind me on this little monitor. There's Erin. Say hi to Erin. Hi, Erin. Of course, this is an audio experience, so if you're listening to the podcast, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. This week, I am proud to bring in a legend, my coworker, my friend, the one, the only, Wix's head of communications, Crystal Carter.
Hi, thank you very much for letting me join you today on Edge of the Web Radio. I feel very edgy. Am I edgy?
Yeah. Wix takeover of the podcast.
That's right,
We've migrated the whole website to Wix, by the way. Edge of the Web is now on a Wix site.
Completely.
Done.
That's exactly where we are. We're cutting edge, and that's what we're doing. We're making it happen today.
You know what? That's not true. We don't hijack websites. That only happens on WordPress.
Wow. He's coming in hot. Straight
Marketer's gonna market. Yeah, so just in case you didn't have enough meetings with me today, here's Crystal. Thank you for joining me yet again.
Day, I wake up and I'm like,
20 times a day. It's honestly, so Crystal's always like, hey, you've got a lot of meetings. You want us to cancel our daily meeting? I don't want to bother you more. She's very considerate. I'm like, no, you're like the one meeting I actually want to have.
That's true. But that's only because I talk to you about things that are completely unrelated. No. We do cover a lot of things.
It does take a little while to get there.
We do get there.
If you're our boss and you're listening, no, we're not wasting company time bantering before our meetings. Anyway, no.
All on topic.
Always. So, softball, you're speaking at a SEO event in support of Ukraine. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, why, yes, I am. I'm speaking at an event called SEO for Ukraine on the 29th of March. And I'm going to be talking about structured data because that's something that I really, really love. And all of the proceeds for the event are being sent to directly to help people in Ukraine. So it's going to the International Committee of the Red Cross. And there's going to be myself, there's going to be Aleda Solis, the amazing, the incomparable, the fantastic Aleda Solis. Also, Dana Di Tommaso is going to be joining us, Luke Carthy, who is the king of ecom, and Sherry Mandor is also joining us. So we're going to have some really great SEO opportunities, SEO learnings to be made. It's going to be a good time. It's hosted by Andrew Optimizy and SEO Joe Blogs on Twitter. So do follow them for all of the updates. But they've been doing an amazing job putting this all together. I remember speaking to Andrew about this originally, and he wasn't sure how it was all going to come together. And I think they were expecting to originally raise about £1,000. And they've now sold 200 tickets at time of printing and raised more than £10,000, all going towards an amazing cause. And I think the thing that's interesting about SEO for Ukraine is of course, there's so many things going on in the world, and this is such a a tragic set of events. But I think also one thing that's been interesting is that a lot of people, this has affected the SEO community specifically as well. So there's a lot of companies that are based in Ukraine, a lot of teams that are based in Ukraine, and a lot of SEO that comes out of Ukraine. So there are a few big tools that are used quite regularly that are based in Ukraine. A lot of their teams are there. Our team at Wix, I don't know if I'm able to say this, although I think there was an article in Forbes about it. Our team at Wix has been doing a lot to support people there as well. A lot of our team members there, and so I think that this is a good opportunity to show some solidarity, show some support for our SEO colleagues in Ukraine, and everyone else in Ukraine as well, while this is all going on. So if you can come join, learn some stuff, support a good cause. If you are not even able to attend, you can buy a ticket as a donation and send it along. Andrew's also happy to get people from the SEO community to donate directly to the cause by way of sponsorship. And so, yeah, join us and support.
Jacob, you going to be there? Put you on the spot right now.
Oh my gosh.
All the
and how much are you
there?
I don't know yet.
Because you can you there's like a minimum that you can buy a ticket for, but you can also pay more for the ticket to donate more. How much are you gonna, Jacob? How much are you gonna pay for a ticket?
I've got to see.
Are you gonna be one of those minimum guys?
No, I'll do double minimum.
Buying the minimum.
How about double minimum?
Yeah, double. Okay.
What if I do half maximum? What's better, double minimum or half maximum?
Half maximum. Now you're locked in.
All right, half maximum it is.
In. Yeah, max was $1 million. So now you're locked in for 500,000.
Yeah, that's like the first time I went to a bar and said I'll have whatever he's having, and then got my bill later on. Like,
ooh, yeah, McAllen, 28 million years old. There you go.
I just saw brown spirits. I didn't know it could be $80 a glass. Whoops!
It didn't taste like an $80 piece.
It did not.
Liquid.
I did not expect this conversation to turn to brown liquor. There's definitely
just never commit to an unknown amount is all I'm saying.
It was really J and B, and they just charge you $80 for it.
He doesn't know any better.
He doesn't know this guy. Okay, I guess we should cover news.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
What do you got
news
first?
Article number 1 from SEJR: internal links in header and footer treated differently. Google's John Mueller recently answered the question again of whether internal links in the footer or header are used differently by Google. Google's John Mueller gave an explanation of the slight difference in how Google treats the main content of a page to shed light on how Google treats internal links within the page. So content, yes. Links, no. Fire, bad. Right? So header, footer, body content, all those internal links are treated exactly the same. As opposed to content goes like, yeah, for the content, that's boilerplate content. Why would we treat that the same? And for links, they're like, no, they're all the same, which makes total sense. Why treat the content differently when you're treating all the links the same? Which is what was confusing to me. Evidently, the links are only there because it's in the menu, and the link internally or actually on the page itself is really important because it's put there specifically, not on every page, but Google's going to treat them the same. Not really sure why they do that. Crystal, your thoughts?
I mean, I think that these menu links tend to give you a lot of information about which pages are the most valuable, so it can kind of see why it should be treated in the same way. So, for instance, if you have something in your menu, it's probably a page that you expect most of your users to visit. I think that Google can understand where there is a menu and where there isn't one. Certainly, as an SEO, if I crawl a website and I notice that most pages have about 4 or 5 links, and then there's like 5 or 6 pages that have 400 links each, I can guess pretty quickly that those are the menu pages. And I think that helps Google to understand which pages to prioritize when they're doing the sort of indexing the pages. So I've been doing a lot of looking at indexing recently, and different ways that Google prioritizes which pages to index and which pages not to index, because there's a lot of discovered but not indexed. And I'm like, that's
My
great.
favorite.
So you want to just sort that out there, guys? And they're like, yeah,
no, we like to leave it here. We'll just leave it as is.
Just like, we found it.
We found you, and we don't care.
Right?
That's like finding Waldo and being like, screw this. Who gives a rat's ass? I found Waldo.
Just like, yeah, absolutely. Did you find Waldo? Yeah.
Yeah,
Where is
whatever.
Whatever.
He's lost.
Right? I know it's on this page though. I know Waldo's on this page.
You know where he is? He's on the contact us page that's linked to the footer of every single page on our website. That's where he is.
Exactly. So I think that I think that that's why they do
that. Thank you for that. Should we go to article number 2 then? Or should we wax more poetic on the fact that the contact us page at the footer of the page is counted exactly the same as the menu up top? Article number 2. No, not article number 2. Morty, get a hold of yourself. Live read SS sponsorship slide. Okay, we're proud to have Site Strategic as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. Site Strategics are pioneers in agile digital marketing. Like Davy Crockett, they are pioneers. Their core specialties are technical SEO, including Core Web Vitals, SEM, social media, conversion optimization, results-based digital marketing that actually works. They've also developed a unique omni-channel media marketing and content curation process. I don't know what that means in English, but they have that, guided by their weekly R&D from the Edge of the Web interviews, incorporating the best techniques for content broadcast strategy and execution. If you are interested in what Site Strategics can do for you, give them a call at 877-SEO4Web. That's 877-SEO4Web. Free toaster for the first 20 clients that sign up. Free toaster oven.
Is that
true, by the way?
I love a toaster.
Yeah, could that be a thing?
Are these 4-slice toasters?
Use code Edge of Toaster. Edge of Toaster.
Are these 4-slice toasters? Because that is an optimized toaster. Like, who's messing around with 2 slices? Like, I don't have time for that.
No toasters.
No, they're only offering 2-slice toaster. That's not even. It's the one that you open up the toaster. It's not even a slice. It's just you put it on the rack thing. Yeah. It's just like yeah. You got to have the 4-slicer. You got to have the 4-slicer with individual like dials for each of the things. I'm very serious about my toast. I love carbs. I don't know if I've told you that before. I love carbs. Here at Edge of the Web, our title sponsor, Site Strategics, loves carbs too. That's why you get a free toaster.
It's like
everyone's gonna come back with all these emails like, "Hey, why are people requesting free toasters for listening to Edge of the Web?" Jacob, don't tell them.
We're quickly becoming a foodie show, like talking about bourbon and now toast.
Can you put bourbon in your toaster? What happens?
Oh gosh.
I mean, have you ever had a smoked bourbon? Because it's great.
Yeah, there you go. It's very peaty.
It
Article number 2 from Search Engine Land. This one by Olaf Kopp. 14 ways Google may, emphasis on may, evaluate EAT. Learn about some potential signals Google may be using to gauge whether your content and brand has strong EAT. How does Google turn EAT, speaking of bourbon and toaster ovens, into signals from the search into signals the search engine can evaluate for the purpose of ranking search results? Basically, there's a whole list of things that Olaf has here of how Google may be evaluating EAT, because Google's Danny Sullivan and many others have said that what we do is no, it's not part of the algorithm, but we have signals that sort of simulate how a human being may evaluate EAT. The first one, scroll back up for just a second there, Jacob. The first one is quality of the website content in total, which is literally why I included this article on this show. The rest of them are the usual, not all of them, some are actually a little bit different. The rest are the usual, author authority, author profiles, all that good SEO, EAT checklist, which usually leaves off quality of the website content in total, because you know what the most important thing for EAT is? The quality of the website content. For some reason, that's like off all of the lists. Like, we don't think about the quality, not just of the page in particular, but of the website in total. I think it's funny that, like, as SEOs, we kind of like, yeah, EAT, let's break this down into an SEO concept, when in reality, it's just a concept of what gives off authority to people and therefore to search engines possibly. And by the way, EAT, expertise, authoritative, and trustworthiness, as a concept overlap, even though in SEO we kind of treat them differently. They're not. They overlap. And yeah, the thing that makes you authoritative and trustworthy is the fact that you have really good content that's really, when you look at the site in total, has strong identity around this topic, around this content, and across the board, it's qualitatively awesome across the board. That's EAT. All the other 13 things, you could think about those too, but they're anecdotal. That's just my take. What's your take, Crystal?
No, I agree entirely. I mean, I've worked with clients on some of these topics, and we really struggled. There was a client that I had, and I kept trying to work with them to update their content, and they had a lot of good signals from a lot of. So one of the signals on here is like different things about offsite concurrence of the author publisher with relevant podcasts, videos, documents, etc. They had a lot of that really good, a lot of really good citations and a lot of really good references in relevant documents, but the content on their website was a real struggle. And because of the vertical that we're in, it was a real challenge for them. So I absolutely agree that that the content needs to be good overall. And I think we all know what good content looks like. And certainly we know when we see bad content, particularly when it's talking about YMYL topics. If somebody's trying to give you medical advice, it's good to know who it's coming from, for instance, and whether or not they know what they're talking about. If someone just says like, oh, if you've got an upset stomach, you should have a lie down, like maybe that might be valid information in some ways or something, but like the person who's telling you that should be able to qualify that information, should be able to explain why they're telling you all of the different things, and should be able to do so with good value content. So they should be able to back it up with diagrams, information, references, all of those sorts of things that it will allow you to understand whether or not content is good. And I totally agree that that's in there. And certainly a lot of the EAT conversations revolve around the quality rater guidelines, and that talks about content all the time. It's a whole content discussion about how you evaluate whether or not a website is good quality or not, is based on the content and whether or not it's good.
I mean, look, there are some interesting things like distance to trust seed sites and the link graph. So how far away are you in terms of like link connections from these like super authority sites? I'm sure that does play into it, but like those, to me, all those kind of things are sort of like throwing the kitchen sink at EAT. Like, yes, let's try to build up our EAT. Let's do all of these things around links, and let's have author profiles. Let's sort of build, but that's sort of like, okay, like the content's great. We have a strong profile because, again, the way machine learning works is that it's profiling your site. And now you want to do the ancillary? Great, go for it. Absolutely. But I don't think that's what makes or break it. Like I've seen during the product review update, which is not a core update, but kind of functions like a core update. So to me, what was happening in a lot of these sites was you have like authoritative sites, like super authoritative sites, but the review content was really kind of thin. Not that it was thin in terms of the length of the page, but it would be like, okay, like pro, con, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Whereas you would have a smaller site whose link seeds were not as close to the seed sites, blah, blah, blah. However, what they were doing was they have a bullet point pro. It would list the pro, and then it would explain in context of the product why that pro matters. So it was qualifying each bullet point. In other words, linguistically, I'm sure like Google's machine learning was able to pick it up. Like, you know what? Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. There's statement, statement, statement versus statement, and then qualification, modification of it. Well, that's a much stronger quality profile than just bullet point without any modification on it. Let's go with that, even though their links and author profiles weren't as awesome as this other site. So
I think you certainly see, and I think you certainly see that with written content. I think it's easier for people to sort of get systematic about it. But I think certainly like on YouTube, like if you've ever looked up how to fix something on YouTube, there's very often like someone in their garage who's got a terrible video, but they actually show you how to actually fix it. And it doesn't matter that they've done it on their phone or whatever. They're just like, this is how you fix this broken part of your bicycle. And you're like, oh my God, thank you for that help. I don't care that I've never heard of you. Like, I don't care that like, that you've got a tiny little bike shop in some small town that I've never been to or whatever. This video actually satisfies what I need. And Google can see, the different, how users are responding to the content, whether users are referring people back to it, whether people are coming back to that content. And whether or not it's of value. And I think that's part of the expertise, authority, and trust, like that they could, I think the the algorithms are getting more sophisticated with being able to understand the signals for what makes content of value to, like, genuinely of value to users.
Yes to all of that. 1,000,000% yes to all of that. But SEOs will keep going about author profiles for the end of time. Okay. We're also, because it's easier. Yeah, author profile, which is easier, author profile or writing really good content? Author profile. Let's go with that. We're also happy to have inlinks.net as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. Did you know that entities play a major role in how search engines understand and rank content on the web? Well, now you do. Optimizing your content solely around keywords is a thing of the past. Now is the time to add entities into the mix and reach higher rankings by using Inlinks, an award-winning software in entity SEO. Inlinks provides you with expert level data to build your content around any keyword so that Google will have a better understanding of the context of your articles. Go to edgeoftheweb.radio.com/inlinks to claim your free Inlinks account and start creating content that will outperform your competitors. Moving on now to our last and mother of all articles, article number 3 from our favorite George Wynn of Search Engine Land. Oh, Georgie boy. Google to sunset Universal Analytics on July 1st, 2023. There goes your July 4th weekend in favor of Google Analytics 4. Fireworks. Google will deprecate Universal Analytics next year, the company announced on last Wednesday. Universal Analytics properties will stop processing new hits on July 1st, 2023. You want a hot dog with that? And Universal Analytics 360 properties will stop processing hits on October 1st, 2023. I don't know what holiday is around October 1st. So it's like, I don't know, like Veterans Day? No, Columbus Day. Time for Columbus Day. So basically, we're all screwed. That's the summary of the article. And I don't know what else to say about this. Google is getting rid of your Universal Analytics. You are going to have to either default to Google Analytics 4 or find another source of analytics. By the way, your CMS, and no one taught. I love this, by the way. Everyone's, got another source for your analytics. Yeah, how about your CMS? Like, they also have like really good analytics in a lot of them. Not just counting Wix Analytics, which is very deep, but a lot of the other CMSs have deep analytics. So you're already paying for it. You might as well use it.
I think I think that this might cause this might cause a little bit of disruption in the sort of Google Analytics as the HQ for all marketing analytics. There might be some disruption there because SEOs have been very, very vocal about their opinions about GA4, and I think one of the reasons, I mean, certainly I find GA4 to be a bit counterintuitive. It feels like it's overly guided, and I kind of want to be able to root around the way that I want to root around. I kind of don't necessarily want to have to like conform to their headings and things like that. So I think that it sort of, it feels a bit counterintuitive. There's time though. I do remember being on the vanguard of the Save the Structured Data Testing Tool committee. I remember going to the Unconference and they were like, do you have any other comments? And I was like, what's going on with the structured data testing tool? And they moved it to validator.schema.org, like, cue the fireworks. So, that's only one tool. It's not the same as Google Analytics, Universal Analytics, but they do listen. So maybe, possibly there is hope that between now and 2023, it might become, maybe. You're skeptical. You're skeptical?
No, because okay.
Let me
Jacob, go for it. You're skeptical too.
Do you? Well, I am, but I want to know
in general
if you think someone started SEO today, and so they were told, hey, you could learn this thing, but it's going to go away, so don't even bother. Just go straight to Google Analytics 4. Do you think they'd be fine with it? Like, is this because we are all used to Universal Analytics, or would that person be missing out on something? What do you think?
I don't know. There's a lot of information and a lot of variables and information that's within Google Analytics. But what I have noticed is they're putting a lot more similar information into Google Search Console. So it might be that Google Search Console becomes a bit more of that sort of HQ for a lot of those sorts of SEO analysis points. And maybe GA4 becomes more of the sort of like, connecting with different marketing tools, tracking different different events that are specific to your particular marketing activity. So I would say for anybody who's starting SEO right now, to answer your point, I'd say like get like really, really into Search Console is what I would say, because that is really, really useful. But I think that, I think that Google Analytics gives you a lot, or Universal Analytics gives you a lot of raw material that you can shape into different things that I don't see. And to be fair, I'm not a GA4 enthusiast, so I don't see the same thing in GA4. But there are people who are really, really into it that I really rate as SEOs and as intelligent people. So I guess there's hope.
I mean, to me, it's like it just doesn't flow intuitively the way you would want to, like working with the URL as opposed to page titles. Like I was looking, so like, I love the landing page report in GA. Like that's my go-to. Like Donna DiTomaso has a whole thing of how you can do that in GA4 and get that data, and it's a 12-step program just to hook that up. Like, come on. So like some of the data's there, but if like once you want to try to go deeper and like look for something specific that you want, that you're on the hunt for, I find that GA4 is just really hard to do that with, and it's super frustrating. And I'm sure you can do it, and part of this is probably just me bitching about it because like I have to learn this now. But it's not as like I find like listen, GA3 is a nightmare. But at least in terms of being able to like find the data that I want when I'm on the hunt for like one URL, I find I got this. Whereas GA4, I feel like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do now?
Yeah. And I think it's frustrating. This is the same reason why I don't use a Mac. Like, don't at me. But like, I'm like on a PC, like I can right click, I can do all the things, and I get on a Mac and I'm like, what? Why is it what? And I just go, you know what? I don't need to do this. I can just use a PC and just move on with my day. And I think that's how a lot of people feel about GA. And
I think it's a great analogy. Same thing. If someone said they wanted to get into video editing, I might recommend a Mac, even though I don't use one. But I might say like, oh, from what I understand, Macs are better. And if you're not locked in on one, I can see that. That's a great analogy.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Mordy, do better.
For all of Jacob's anecdotes and wisdom, tune into. Do you have a website, Jacob, where you write down like Yogi Berra has yogi-isms?
I should.
Are there Jacob-isms?
I'll start one.
Yes.
You could have it. You call it Jacob's Ladder, and you could like every day you'd step up to a new quote.
Oh, I like that.
Oh my gosh! I'm just the
That
amount
is
of content
awesome.
for daily quotes. Oh God.
There we go. Like, and go to another one. Hey there, and give me affirmations. Hey there, keep chin up.
I love
like,
it.
Have a good day.
Hey, hang in there. Maybe I'll just redo all the motivational posters with me. That'll be my swag that I sell. My merch.
Perfect.
You can sign it. Send it to Barry.
Oh man, so many good ideas this week.
Okay, so this is the part in the show where I plug SEO Chat. SEO Chat, as run by some guy. Hey, it's Fonzie. It's Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time is that in England? I have no idea because England didn't change the clock and the U.S. did change the clock, and I have no idea what the hell time it is anymore. So it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's hosted by Celeste Gonzalez, and we're talking about continuing SEO education. So SEO Chat, hosted by Celeste Gonzalez of Rickety Roo, on continuing your SEO learning by avoiding Neil Patel. Happens Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Find it on Twitter.
It's a good time. SEO Chat.
It is fun for all.
It's fun.
Hey
for
Jacob,
all.
wait, show Crystal the Ricky. No, I'm the Ricky. Show him looking at the screen. Show Crystal the Neil Patel thingy.
I just saw it.
Come on, Jacob.
Out of your face.
Do it.
I
can't
did
see it.
How did you miss it?
I can't see it. It's actually on my screen. Oh, there we go.
It's coming out of your
Okay.
face. It just came out of your face.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm
like
ready to do the
Neil
sound
Patel.
effect with it. Do the sound effect. Do the sound effect.
That was all there.
I mean-
There's something wrong with your connection, Morty.
I can't hear. This is the worst experience ever for me. I know something funny is happening and I can't see it or hear it.
Oh, did you just see that?
Yeah.
It was amazing. Jacob, that was so funny.
Damn it.
Some of the best graphics I've ever done.
I mean, you really pushed the boat out.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll end on that high note and technical glitches. Crystal, thank you so much for last second, because I totally forgot I was hosting this week. I needed to find a fill-in for my spot. Joining us and offering your awesome wisdom. Where can people find you, by the way?
I am on Twitter. I'm at Crystal on the web. You can try to find me on LinkedIn, but I can't stand their notification situation. It kind of stresses me out. So I'm there, but
on TikTok.
mostly I'm on Twitter. My TikTok is on the DL. I'm just trying stuff. It's all R&D.
Do it.
It's
Check
like-
out Crystal Carter on TikTok.
No, I'm totally gonna make that a private session now. It's like a private.
Well, that's it for Edge News this week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updated on when we go live with our next show. From all of us over at Edge, stay safe, stay well, and don't be a piece of cyber drift wood.